All right, welcome to the Media Hotel. We are counting down. Believe it or not, Katie, it's almost game day.
Almost game day. It's been a long and a short week all at the same time. We've been here since, Sunday? But at the same time, there's been lots to cover, and so it's been a great week. And, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the coverage that we've brought you so far.
Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We got here on the 23rd. A lot of the media arrives yesterday, today. They're all excited. Oh, here we are to cover the Cotton Bowl. We're like, when's the game going to get here? Katie, we had media day today. I had it over in Jerry's World at AT&T Stadium. Great place to practice, and I had the media day. Obviously, one of the big topics was Dexter Lawrence and his situation. Dabo's first question out of the chute, he answered that and basically said they, as of this morning, they did not know the Sample B test results yet. They hope to get that back today, but really kind of same things we've heard the last couple of days. I know you got to talk to some of the players, and obviously that was one of the things we were trying to do was gauge reaction. Now you talked to Austin Bryan a little bit. What was his reaction to that whole situation?
Yeah, so I did a one-on-one with Austin, and obviously not only is he a teammate of Dexter, but also a very close friend, and so he's hurting just as much, maybe if not more than Dexter, for the fact that he has to go through all of this, mainly because he knows that Dexter, along with Zach and Braden, none of this was intentional. They obviously did not ingest anything intentional. And so he just, feels for him and hurts for the fact that he has to go through this and may have to miss an opportunity to play in another college football playoff game. But at the same time, he's been, just trying to keep his spirits up and just help him kind of get through the week. Now, a little bit of good news is that, Dexter has been able to sort of, coach throughout the week. I saw something about how he had maybe a middle school whistle, but he just advanced to a coach's whistle or something, so they were all excited about that. So he has been doing that to just kind of keep his mind off of things and keep him involved in the team. So yes, once they get the results back, we will all see where he stands with that. So
yeah, and obviously we were wondering whether Dexter would show up today. He actually showed up. They gave him the choice whether to come or not. The other two players chose not to come. Dexter did come, obviously had all the cameras set up there. We've already got that video up there for you. But, I was impressed with the way that he came, took all the questions. There were probably 100 questions for him. Said what you would expect him to say after Dabo's comments the last couple of days. That he had no idea. He was shocked when Dabo called him to tell him that news. He couldn't believe it. He spent a lot of time talking to Dabo, talking to his mom, and praying about things the last couple of days, and it seems like he's in a pretty good spot mentally. But he said he had no clue. He said he's doing what he can to help the team. Obviously he's hoping he'll be able to get back out there, but the vibe from everything we got today was the team's obviously preparing for him not to be there on Saturday.
Right, I know, and I think that's going to be difficult for them, but at the same time, if that's the case, Albert Huggins was also there today, and he spoke to the media as well. And he was I think a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, and so I don't think people realize that Clemson may be okay if that's the case. It's not the end of the world. If he comes in, he knows what he's doing, and he is confident that he can get the job done as well.
Yeah, I talked to Albert as well, and Dabo talked about him early in the season how we really have 5 starters on the defensive line. They included Albert in that. He's a senior, and he's stuck behind Dexter and Christian, so he hadn't been able to get as much playing time as a typical senior, but he's had some important games and times during the games for the Tigers, and I'm interested to see some of the former Tigers have made their NFL careers by what they did in the final game of the season or in the playoff. Malachi Goodman comes to mind, so it'll be interesting to see how he does when he goes out there. What was your vibe just in general of the Clemson team at the media day today?
It's funny because I asked Austin that question anyways. I said, what, with all of this going on, all of this outside talk that nobody really expected to happen this week, what has been the overall mood at practice? And he said, really, it's been great. Yeah, they've had to deal with this, but at the same time, they know it's out of the control of everyone on the team. They just have to wait for the results, and that's all they can do. And so the mentality was just, move on and practice this week and kind of get that out of your mind. And so they seemed, loose. A lot of them were joking around. T. Higgins was running around interviewing other players. Players were interviewing players. So in my opinion, the mood seemed light, but they also seem very focused at the same time.
Definitely a revenge thing in their mind a little bit. One thing I noticed, they bring all the players from both teams, which is the only time we get to talk to anybody we want all year. Just looking at the teams, very big difference between just the physical nature of the Clemson players versus the Notre Dame players. We were commenting that they had the non-starters for Notre Dame sitting over there in chairs, and if you just look physically, and it's kind of reminiscent for Clemson fans, if you go back to the game in Atlanta against Alabama, Alabama gets off the bus, and Clemson folks are like, oh, these guys look a little bit different. Clemson looks a lot different than Notre Dame.
Yeah, I would agree, and I kind of think that goes back to last year. I think, Clemson was obviously, they came to play last year, but at the same time, personally interviewing Alabama players, they were all business. Not saying that Clemson wasn't, but just the vibe seemed a little off. But this year, like you mentioned, I really do think that revenge factor is playing a part in this, that Clemson is here, and they're here to take care of business.
Stay tuned to TCI. We got tons more headed your way. We got a ton of stuff we're working on putting out on the site from the media day today. We'll be rolling that out the rest of the day, rolling some of that out tomorrow. We got head coaches in the morning, and then we get ready for the big game on Saturday. So stay tuned to TCI for the most complete coverage of Clemson football.